So now we borrow Uncle Pond's boat.
Thanks, Simon. We owe you.
Indeed! Enjoy your boaty jaunt!
So that's the World Tree.
Whoa, I've never seen it so close before.
Me neither, to tell you the truth. But it's just as awesome as I'd hoped.
The current's really strong. Fall in that, and you're a goner.
It's great that we made it this far. But how do we get over there? Any ideas? Pyra? Huh?
Rex, we need to leave. We can't stay here.
What? Why? What are you talking about, Pyra?
Ophion!
Ophi who?
Quick!
Huh? Gotcha!
Ophion, stop this. What's wrong? Can't you hear me? It can't be.
What was that? Thought we were done for. Huh? Is that
Uraya's Titan.
This is not good! Ah, here it comes! Pyra? Anybody?
I'm here.
You hurt?
No, I'm fine.
Oh,
Meh.
Looks like we're all okay.
Except for the fact that we now find ourselves in the belly of the beast.
The beastie's belly?
This is the inside of the Urayan Titan.
Meh, meh.
Look!
Tora think this not nice place.
Is that how we're gonna end up?
hey Rex, don't jinx us.
Everyone, shouldn't we try to get out of here? If I recall, the Orions live towards the beast's back. There must be a way up there.
Yeah, can't hang around here for sure.
Over there.
Huh?
Poppy sees something over there. Someone coming this way.
For real? Maybe you're just seeing things.
Poppy is certain. Something is flickering over there.
Flickering, you say? Some kind of ghost, maybe?
Shut up. There's no such thing.
Nia, you're not scared, surely?
Don't talk nonsense, Rex. I'm not a kid.
You're scared. At last, something Nia's scared of.
Just you watch. Hey, where's Pyra?
What?
Pyra's missing.
But she was right here. Pyra? Pyra!
Hey, what's up?
Ah! Hey, what's the big idea? Don't wander off like that.
Nothing, really. I was just taking a look around. What's the matter?
What's so funny?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, Titan's fault.
Oh, things are looking brighter already.
Poppy can help too.
Now even more brighter.
You two are certainly earning a keep. I wish I could say the same for old Dromark here.
Apologies, my lady.
See? Not so scary when you can actually see. Let's find the exit.
Yeah!
Kingdom of Uraya. Uraya? Uraya? Yes, one of those are correct. Okay, so with that in mind, I think I'm going to. Wow. I never really appreciated, you know, the lighting here. Everything just, well, everything that can stand out is standing out in the dark.
Show me what you got.
So with that in mind, I'm going to nimble nop on get what? Huh? Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the progress here. The progress of one cutscene that I've made all day. But I am kind of curious to see what kind of blade we get for Nia. I just have like 24 common and 22 rares. Might as well just use one, right? Besides, this will help us. Best case scenario, we just get a rare blade that we didn't have before. Worst case scenario, or best case scenario, dude, why is Nia getting all the blades? Are you kidding me?
Call me Gorg. It is a great honor to have met you.
What? Dude, wait a minute. Don't you want to be with Rex? Okay, well that's what the protocols are for.
To you.
Alright. Sure. Hey, it's an attacker. Great. Wonderful. I'm not questioning anything. It's all good. It's all good. Nia's just getting all the blades, my dude. But with that in mind, I appreciate you all for coming along and watching, and I will see you all next time. Until then. Picture also enclosed in this time. That's pretty interesting. Hey everyone, it's Believers and Gamers back with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And so, to start things off, I wanted to mention something that was really interesting that didn't appear to me or was revealed to me last time I was here in Uraya. So, obviously we got swallowed by a giant fish. And there's actually a Bible correlation with this in Jonah getting swallowed by the whale. Now, the reason why Jonah was first and foremost swallowed by the whale is because he was being disobedient to God. Excuse me. I'm going to be a bit... This is not going to be the most accurate retelling of Jonah, because it's off the top of my head, but with that being said, the story basically goes, Jonah was supposed to tell some people that they were sinning, doing bad, and that God was going to deal with them, strike them down. And in his fear, because he was one guy going to tell a however many amount of people group, a large number of people, that they were sinners, normally what would happen in that situation is they stone the messenger, which is why, you know, the saying, well, the Bible, I don't personally know if it's the correlation with don't stone the messenger or don't shoot the messenger or something like that, but that's typically what happens. Anyways, Jonah gets disobedient, goes in the opposite direction, and ends up getting swallowed by a giant whale. And I'm skipping a lot here. It was the people on the boat with Jonah were afraid for their lives and were trying to figure out what's going on. I think they tried praying to every other god, and Jonah said, "No, I know what's up. It's God. He put this giant storm, this tempest here, to get me." How do I say? To get me to get back on track. And then they said, then Jonah knew that it's probably better if I'm not in a combat scenario when telling the story. Telling, I don't want to call it a story because people think it's fictional. But in any case, Jonah basically says that if you want to calm the storm, just toss me into the deep, and they did it, and he was then swallowed by a giant whale, where in that time, Jonah then came to the realization that, you know, it's better just to do what God wants me to do than to do anything else, because it's clearly not working. God is clearly not letting me get away with not following his will. So with that being said, he comes to the conclusion, okay, I'm just going to warn the people. I'm not going to care what they have to say about it. And it turns out that people are actually receptive to Jonah. They take what he says and they change their ways. They don't attack him. They just leave him be. And then Jonah gets upset. And he gets upset because, you know, he had given this word from God and it hadn't come to fruition. So,
others have so many extra words.
So what was it? So Jonah then hides himself under a leaf until it gets withered away by the sun. And I think he was like complaining to God, like, oh God, why'd you take out this leaf? And it's supposed to like show the, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocrisy of Jonah, that Jonah is going to bat for a leaf, but he won't go to bat for the people who God had compassion on to warn them before time. Now, I tell you all this to say that, you know, it is how a liking of how God operates in Jonah. He gives people warnings well in advance before they get into certain situations, because a lot of the times people expect, well, instantaneously, and you can see that from how, you know, we treat things on Amazon when they come in late. The point of me telling you this is that God will give a warning well in advance for people to change their ways, this one, that one, or something along the lines of that. And, you know, it's not, when the warning comes, it's not because there is punishment immediately behind it. The punishment happens if you hear the warning and decide to do nothing about it. Because God has already told you what he planned to do. And even if you don't see it in the moment, know that at some point, it's gonna happen. No one gets away from it. because that's, you know, another thing. A lot of people think that people a lot of people think that people who are openly wicked are getting away with being openly wicked, and don't understand that it's God's mercy that they don't immediately get hit, but because they don't recognize the fact that it is mercy at work and not just, you know, God not existing, that what happens happens. And well, the long and short of what I'm trying to say is the reason why there is a lag time in the first place is because God is being merciful. Okay, you messed up. Get back on track, right? And then that's when the warnings come in. It's like, listen, if you don't get back on track, this is what I'm going to do. And there's still a lag time in there.
Hey, we didn't do our
where, you know, again, God won't immediately hit a person with what they honestly deserve. He will wait and see. It's like, okay, I gave you the warning. What are you gonna do about it? You know. So, anyways, I just thought that was like a really interesting thing that lined up here, because, well, I wasn't really even thinking about it. Like, legit, before this even this session even started, I was not thinking about it, and then God gave me the idea for it right before I came on. So glory to God on that. Anyways, there's a video game being played on screen, and I don't know, I have a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, the first and foremost, most interesting thing is that I actually had more than a handful of things to reference with the Bible on, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like I said, God is in everything. In everything. It's easier to find God in everything than it is to try and not find him anything, because his everything is how the world was made in the first place. You know what I mean? With that being said, on the video game in question that we're playing, a lot of interesting thoughts. Unfortunately, I didn't go out of my way to research things about how the blade system works. And by that I mean like how the pity system works, how it all correlates together, and things of that nature. I'm a little in the dark on that, and I did want to get more information, because if I remember correctly, certain characters, when you start out on certain pathways in the blade system, get very difficult to get. Most namely Cosmos. Cosmos. I think I'm saying that right. I never played Xenogears. No, Xenosaga. I never played Xenosaga. With that being said, oh, that's cool. You can get quest items before they even become quest items? Nice. Okay. With that being said, I was interested in figuring that out, but at the same time, I'm not too worried about it. If only because, well, this is not going to be like a 100% save file and things of that nature, but just learning the ins and outs of this game and learning the strange ways in which it was broken, this feels interesting to me. I mentioned before how it was like pretty interesting that I shouldn't have done that. Interesting that people really like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 despite its flaws, because they are very apparent in its design, and in a lot of cases, games like this probably wouldn't. If this game came out nowadays, I think people would have looked at this much differently. Matter of fact, speaking of looking at things differently, let's get the heck out of here. We are at a disadvantage if Tora is already that low on health. With that being said, I feel that people would have looked at this game a little bit differently, but considering the fact that it was like one of the first games on the Nintendo Switch, a console which people already had the expectation of, you know, it's not going to be the best in the world in terms of hardware and things of that nature, but so long as it can capture the imagination of the people who are playing, then they have a really big advantage. What? How did you see me that far away? Anyways. Oh, that's why. Anyways, if they can capture the imagination of the player base, then they have a really big advantage. I think a lot of that contributed to what this game could get away with. Like, imagine if Donkey Kong Bonanza was coming out around the corner and Xenoblade Chronicles, well, 4 at this point, looked like this. It would probably have a much different response and things of that nature. But with that being said, well, oh, wait, yeah, okay, finally got a launch combo off. What was I going to say? I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, but I apologize because, basically what I'm trying to say is that it's all very interesting how all of this works together. How all of these events work together for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to be as loved as it is. I guess you can say stuff like that for like the original Metal Gear Solid, right? Because it's a game that it shows its age fairly on its sleeve. You can't get away from it no matter how hard you try, because it's just made in the era of PS1 games. By design, a PS1 game is going to have its age show a lot more than most other game consoles in existence. And nevertheless, the fact that, you know, somebody like me can say that Metal Gear Solid is one of the best games of all time, which, you know, I can. It is. There is no sense of irony in that statement because of the fact that, how revolutionary the game was.
Hey, Nia? Yeah, I'll check it out, Victor.
This is an area where I excel.
Sorry, I got distracted by the dialogue. You know, because of how revolutionary the game was, you know, I can say that despite seeing its flaws. And I guess when I think about it, it's no different from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, it's a game that's made on a console that's not very powerful in comparison to what was out at the time and what is out now, even by Nintendo standards of what is out now. But I think that also shows not only like the strength of Nintendo as a whole, because I think some of the most impactful pieces of tech that Nintendo has created have all been behind the times in terms of technology. And it's very interesting how that all correlates to. You know, there's always, and I'm not going to pretend that, see, I'd like to say that graphics aren't important, but when I look at myself, when I look at how I've been acting over the past so many parts about how Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and its Alright. Oh, of course! There's just a random mid-boss here. Of course! Sheesh. How did this happen?
Poppy failed her mission.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that Nintendo has never been the graphical powerhouse of the industry, but at the same time that also shows a lot of what people truly value in games. Like, yes, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a pretty game. I wanted to talk about it actually, but Uraya is one of the best aesthetically pleasing areas in the game due to how it uses its colors and, uses the highlighted area. You can't see it, actually. Hang on, let me switch off Nia. I know people who have already played this game can see it very easily, but Pyra is not helping me at the moment because we're in a very well-lit area. Whatever. So the Aegis Blade right now... Okay, Pyra kind of shows it off. You know, it gets better. If you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before, it gets much better in terms of its art style and how the lighting engine works and things of that nature. But because of stuff like that, it really shows that what people, in my opinion, truly value in terms of a gaming experience. Because even with all of these neato graphics and things of that nature, if you can look past it, please don't knock me down. If you can look past all of them and come to a game that is clearly not, it's trying its best to fire on all cylinders, but is held back by just limitations of whatever was going on at the time, I assume. Could have been just not getting enough time, not getting enough because Monolith Soft was working on Breath of the Wild at the same time as, well, not at the same time, but was working on Breath of the Wild at some point in time. You know, it probably just didn't get as much attention due to the fact that they had such a big project, another big project, I should say, on their plates. So it is an is what it is type of situation. You can't help that. But considering the fact that, again, so many people can love this game, see past its flaws and things of that nature, is awesome. I mentioned this a long time ago, but it gives me a lot of hope for what video games can be moving forward. Because if we're not so caught up with the graphical presentation of a game, if people, and by people I mean the devs, can just create the games that they want to create without worry of, you know, this game isn't as graphically impressive as the latest PS5 title, or I don't know, whatever's out at the time. If we can just get to that point, I think things will look a lot brighter for video gaming as a whole. And that might sound like an interesting, you know, thing to go into, considering... Where did Tora go? Where did Tora go? Alright, okay. We're out. Dude, what is going on? Anyways, you might think that that's a kind of a weird thing to talk about on a, after just like going into Jonah and the Whale. Yeah, there's Tor. Oh! After going from Jonah and the Whale in the Bible and all that stuff, but, you know, like I said, God is in everything. Whether you want to acknowledge him or not, he is there. And I think that at some point, games as a whole are going to take a revolution because I messed up. Okay, it wasn't that bad. But at some point, they're going to have a type of revolution because where they have been is far down into the pits with the devil and all this stuff. And, you know, he had his time, and now it's time for God to have his time in the spotlight before Jesus comes back. By the by, Jesus is coming back. You should get saved. All you have to do to get saved is confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, and you will be saved. It's that simple. Oh, was good. Can I ever so carefully, as quiet as a ninja? No, there's another enemy right there. Did he turn around? He didn't. Dang it! All right, I got it. I'm out. No, I'm in. I should have just went for it. That's my fault. I was trying to decipher whether I had multiple enemies to dodge. I did not. But it is cool that this game allows you to take subquest items beforehand. That's really nice. I like that a lot.
there's some kind of dim light.
If I remember, the Urayan Titan has a translucent hide. I bet that'll be the light filtering through.
So, the Titan must be above the clouds now.
I dare say.
If we can make it to the source of the light, maybe we'll find a way out of here.
Hold it! Looks like a bunch of mushes I ain't seen yet. You gotta have pretty damn bad luck, ending up in a Titan's guts like this. Huh? That blade! An emerald core crystal. So, the rumors are true.
Huh? What rumors?
The tale that every driver worth his salt knows. The legendary Aegis. Folks been saying she just woke up from a 500-year nap. Wouldn't have thought she'd show up with a pencil-neck shrimp like you for a driver, though.
You think I don't have what it takes?
No, I mean, maybe you could handle a normal blade. But a greenhorn like you, with a beaut like her, don't kid yourself. Come on, boy. Hand her over to a grown-up.
This crap is getting old. Leave her alone.
You got heart, kid. I like that. You, Zuo, you take care of the others. I want to squash the kid.
Leave it to us, boss.
We'll take real good care of him.
So this was the beginning of something I didn't even realize was a thing. The legacy of Vandams across these games. Oh, it's a tutorial. Alright. You're up against a whole bunch of fierce opponents. Here's a little tip that might come in handy when taking on multiple enemies. Perhaps you made use of it already, but that thing with the arrow is currently pointing on is called the concentration icon. Oh. That's what that is, okay. When you're taking on multiple enemies, even if you switch the leader's target, your allies won't switch theirs, they'll carry on attacking the same enemies. If you feel like you need some help, just press the left button for the concentration icon, and your icons will hone it, and your allies will own in on the same enemy as you. In a crowded battle, the order you choose to take down the enemies can mean the difference between victory and utter failure. Make good use of target switching, and you have your allies concentrate on the enemies, and you might find your way out of a sticky situation. Now protect Pyra. Yeah, the lineage of Vandam. So I think it. I have no words. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out like how I would describe the Vandam thing, but I just can't. It's something that appears, and what's in kind of just ride along for it. The most interesting thing, I guess, in this whole lineage of Vandam is finding out the fact that even an unimportant character in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 carried such importance. With that being said, I think that it's kind of difficult to figure out who I'm supposed to be going after right now. The obvious... So... Okay, let's try some things, right? I'm going to go out on the... No, Grand Axe would not be a healer. Who'd be the healer? I don't think any of them are the healer, actually. That sucks. Okay. Even though they gave me the whole rundown of switching targets and things like that, because there is no healer, I could just go after Vandam. Nothing's really stopping me to think about it. But it is just a good idea in general in RPGs to eliminate ads at all intersections. So there is value in this. Because out of all of them, I would assume that Vandham is a tank, but he's not doing anything to take in my aggro. Or, take in my aggro, get my attention. That's what I was trying to say. I don't like the fact that the downed bodies do end up forming a barrier between me and my opponents. That definitely sucks. So, another topic with the combat, because we're probably just going to get vaulted into another cutscene, is I was thinking of giving Ward to Rex, because I would give him a bit more synergy with Nia. Unfortunately, as I figured out a little bit earlier in this recording session, we still don't have access to the third slot on the Blade list. I believe it's going to be locked for a little bit longer, and because of that, it's going to hamper my decision making and the synergy a bit from these extra rare blades that we'll get throughout the game. It shouldn't be too much longer, but still. Okay, now... So, I guess this is also a point to bring in something, because I don't know which one is a designated healer of the party of Vandham. Oops. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to be back in a second.
Much stronger.
What's the matter? Are you the Aegis, or aren't you?
Huh? Something feels different. This man, he's...
That all you got, mate? Pathetic.
We'll show you. We'll show you what me and Pyra are made of. He dodged.
Of course I did, kid. Any slower, you'd bore me to death.
How about this, then?
Rex! Wait! I can't supply power this fast!
Nowhere left to run. Eat this! Huh?
Playtime's over. Take this. Ha! If you're a driver, you're a new one for sure. Drivers, see? We borrow our blade's energy, channel it into our weapons, and let rip with an art. But you gotta be careful. There's a limit to it. If you go in all bull-headed like that, kid, even that Aegis of yours is gonna run out of energy before long.
What?
Huh?
The name's Vandham. I run a little firm out of the nearby village.
Firm?
Come on! I'll treat you to some grub, as thanks for letting me take a whack at the legendary Aegis.
Just then, I realized while we were fighting, I sensed from the very start that he didn't mean us any real harm.
He sure is a strange old goat, that one.
Alright, and that's going to do it for this video. But before we sign off, I want to give people the opportunity to get saved if they aren't already saved. So, as it says in Romans 10:9, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God had raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Or, in layman's terms, if you confess that Jesus is Lord and believe that God had raised him on the third day, then you shall be saved. What salvation is, well, knowing God. It's not just a matter of going to heaven, but knowing the character of God. About knowing who he is, knowing that he is good, and knowing that he is for you and has a plan for you, a good plan for your life. I think a lot of people, when they hear about salvation, they just think about going to heaven, but it's actually a lot more than that, and a bit more complicated too. Well, more simple and more complicated at the same time. But, it's not just about getting a free ride out of hell. It's about knowing God. And I think a lot of people miss that in just, trying to, get out of hell. Because, the thing about it is that every man has sinned and come short of the cross. So if at any point you were questioning why salvation is a thing, why is it for you? Then hey, that's the reason why, because we're not as holy as God. We're not to the point where we all should be, and I think we can all agree that nobody on earth is perfect, and that's the part of why we need salvation in the first place. In any case, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Until then.